All right, now we're on the introduction part, and this is the most important part. If you master this part, then everything will be easy. The first part of the introduction is layer one. On layer one, this is what you do you start out writing things down. Layer one is like a pre study of what the introduction phase is, or the introduction part of what how you introduce yourself to a conversation. So, first thing you do is you write down what type of introduction can be said, and you do this by relating it by your life experience to come up with the answers. While you're in the field, or you're talking on Monkey, or out in the real world having a conversation, you can write more and add to the list. These are the things I came up with. These are the only things I can think of. If there's more, write it down. Like I said, it's statements, sound effects, and questions are the things or the ways you can introduce a conversation or introduce yourself. The next part is layer two, which is the type of statement you can say, the type of question you can say, and the type of sound effects you can make. This is not going in too much detail, it's just the next layer down from layer one. For example, for statements, greeting, like, hey, how are you? Hey, what's up? That's you're just saying hi. Observation. You are saying an observation of about the person or the things around you. Speculation. Speculation is when you are making a guess about something or someone. Opinion is you're making an opinion about something or someone. The best thing to do for this is think of present. Using these four things, think about the present, what you can say in the present. For questions, you ask a question about their day. You can ask a question about how they're feeling. You can say, what's that meaning? What's that over there? What is that you're wearing? What is that smell? That type of question. You can ask for directions. But where is the store? Where is the gym? Where is my shoes? Where is your shirt? You talk about. You can ask a question about where is belongings, where is an object, where is a place, and that's how you introduce a conversation. And then you can ask a question about what are they doing, or what is he doing, or what are they doing. For sound effects, it's what type of sound effects can you make while introducing a conversation or introducing yourself. A sound effect, for example, is you just walk up to someone and singing a song like "My Sherry." I'm on. That's you're over here. You walked up to somebody flirting with somebody. That's a sound effect. Or you be like, "Hey." That's a sound effect. That's another way you can greet somebody. You can just say onomatopoeia. Layer three is probably the most important, or the second to the most important part, because this is probably where your mind goes blank and you're thinking too much. So if you master this, everything gets easy, which is the type of ways they can say something, type of thing they are saying. It might sound different, but ultimately they are saying the same thing you're saying. So they could say something different, sound different, but they mean the same thing you're saying. So if you master layer three, you will get better mentally, because you're thinking, okay, what type of thing is they're saying, and then that's how you be able to respond. For example, somebody asks you, or you ask somebody, "How's your day?" You say good, or they say good, but the next person you ask, you say, "How are you?" They say, "My old lady pissed in my coffee." So you think to yourself, hold up, what the hell did he just say? pissed in my coffee. Oh, you saying okay that he's having a bad day. He's not having a good day. He's having a bad day, because that's basically what he means. The answer is for layer three. They can say something mundane about how their day is going, or they can say something witty, act. Write down type of ways they can say something. These are only two that we should focus on, because we don't want to spend too much time thinking. We want to spend time actually doing what we need to do, which is practicing on monkey or getting out in the field, going in the world and actually writing down all these notes. Now the last layer is layer number 4. Layer 4 is what they actually said, or what I actually said, or what you actually said. This is where you take notes and categorize the type of thing you said or what the other person said. This is where you think of what they said and respond accordingly with the type of thing they said. The best thing for you to do is write down immediately or as soon as possible and memorize and then practice, because the best type of notes is the fresh notes where you can just add on each note and then you can just practice all of that in one day. So say you have 5 songs you are trying to memorize, it's best to not learn 5 songs in 5 days. It's best to learn 5 songs in one day and then the next day practice all the songs in one session, because it's all about going inside your brain and then the spaced repetition of remembering and retrieving the information and bringing it out so it can feel natural. But if you over here practice one day then another day, it's going to take like 40, 50, 60 days or a whole year to remember 10 notes. So the best thing to do is just get it done now. This is the tedious part, so but the best, this is, you have to think of this as boxing. If you get the jab down and then you get the 2 down, it's easy to know how to block a jab and block a right hand, or slip a jab and slip a right hand, because it's basically the same movements and same frames. It's all the same foundation. So if you master the introduction and the system, how to get better, it's going to make everything easier, because it's going to make the next frameworks easier. But if you don't do it as soon as possible, right then and there, and just procrastinate and do it, that's when things seem a little bit harder. It's not going to feel as intuitive or natural to master. Now that is everything for the introduction. Once you master the introduction phase, everything should seem easier. It'll feel like, oh, okay, all I have to do is this, because everything is basically the same thing. So right now, I'm going to get a little preview of the transition. This is the keynote for the transition. The transition is not when the other person switches the topic. It's when you switch the topic transition into another topic. For example, you guys both talk about where you're from, and the other person says, "Oh yeah, I like cheesecake." Then you guys start talking about cheesecake. Again, the conversation does not transition when the other person transitions. It transitions when you transition the conversation. So for example, you start talking cheesecake, then all of a sudden you have to get your transition phase and talk about cars. So once you start talking about cars, that's when the conversation is out the introduction phase.